D times V times F has to be greater than R. Okay? D is dissatisfaction with the present reality, which is the typical number one motivator towards change. I don't like the way things are here. Okay? Hopefully that I don't like is legitimate. It's not just the proverbial the grass is greener on the other side, but it has legitimacy to it. There's a compelling vision of what I see as the possible new tomorrow. And then the first steps, which would mean to say, what are the first things that we're going to do to move in the right direction? And how are we going to celebrate those? All of those have to be able to overcome the inevitable R, which is resistance. And resistance comes anytime you ask somebody to change, anytime you do something that is a variation of their modus operandi and the way that they're comfortable. Right? We are creatures of habit. We like to put our shoes in the same place next to our bed every evening. We like to drink our coffee probably more or less the same way every morning. We have certain things that we do, probably, I don't know what the percentage would be. Many, many things that we do every day is more or less how we did it yesterday and the day before. It's just the pattern that we've established for ourselves. And that's the way our brain works. It's a good thing. But at the same time, you're looking now to break a pattern. You're looking to change a culture. You're looking to change a particular way of doing things. That's something you have to be very sensitive to, and you have to expect resistance. And even when I mentioned before, people are telling you, yeah, great idea, let's do it. They have to really know what they're getting into, and you have to sort of prepare yourself for it, because when push comes to shove, they may wake up and say, I don't really like it as much as I thought I would. And they may not tell it to you directly. It sort of goes, subterranean and works its way through the back channels until it sort of all of a sudden pops up. The board chair walks into your office and says, hey, I'm hearing all this backlash. What do you mean? All these people told me it was the greatest idea since sliced bread, right? So what changed? Because you didn't fully gauge the realities on the ground and didn't keep your ear to the ground to ensure that people were actually receiving the change as you intended. So all of these things are important to keep in mind. Right? This we talked about before, the case for change. It's a great concept because it really forces you to be very thoughtful, and I would encourage you to not only do it yourself, but to bring key stakeholders into that conversation as well. What do we really need to be doing here, etc. Whether the stakeholders are parents or just your own staff or whomever, the ones who are going to be most affected by what you're looking to do. Okay? Here are the questions. We've already looked at it. And now having a clear vision is really important, because again, you're not just changing to be different than what you were, you're changing to become something different, and having the utmost clarity of what that looks like, to the point where everybody can say, aha, that's what we had in mind when we started this process. That's an outcome you want from the beginning. Trying to create a real sense of direction. Not only will it focus your energies, but it will also motivate people. Because people want to be driven to, right? Whenever you see, you walk into a shul and they have a little, mini structure of what the new building is going to look like. You've seen these things all the time. That motivates people. It gets them excited. Say, wow, look at what we're working towards. And there's a real clear picture. You may not finally take that image, but you get the idea. Okay? And then finally, celebrating, identifying milestones and targets, working towards them, and keeping in mind that resistance is inevitable. So to recap our conversation from tonight, now the hour is late and there's other things to discuss. We began with a conversation about agenda setting, change management. I think everybody realizes that this is not easy. Some organizations may be more involved in it than others, but whether you think that you are changing the world or you're dealing with a little Kleinigkeit which you think is really nothing, but maybe fits into that category of the hills that the heads die on that I referenced earlier, the reversal of the carpool, the change of the slogan, the nuance of difference in the mascot, whatever seems to be like very, very petty, the change of order at morning lineup that I referenced, sometimes even those things can be a big deal. And so by giving people a voice, by showing them that you value them, by building equity in your relationship, by letting them know that you want to stay in touch with them, being prepared to delegate, being prepared to involve people on an ongoing basis, using caution, proceeding slowly, and having it all mapped up with a clear vision. Hopefully, if you do all of those and do them well, then you can manage the inevitable resistance that will come your way. You'll keep everything in front of you instead of it going sideways on you. The feedback will be something that you can hear, respond to, address, rather than have to deal with when perhaps it's already too late, which unfortunately too many people in organizations such as ours have dealt with, because we just didn't have that capacity or that expertise to know how to manage all of these things. And Bez Hashem, if we can do all of those and do those successfully, then we'll be even more effective in our skill as change management leaders and agenda setters.